Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? It's your boy Rick here, back with another video. Today, I'm just talking about taking advantage of time and space. And you know what? You know where this comes from? I was listening in to a training session with one of the great minds of our time, a man called Dr. Sunday Adelaja. Make sure you follow him and check him out, Dr. Sunday Adelaja. And he said something that sparked my imagination. He said that the greatest forms of wealth, the two greatest forms of wealth that are available to us are time and space, respectively. So, number one is time, and number two is space. And I just got to thinking, and this is what made me make this video. Because one of the biggest issues that we poor people have is that we focus on our lack mentality. We focus on a mentality of lack. Whenever somebody comes to us with solutions, to our predicaments, we're just quick to count our obstacles rather than that thing that we have in our favor. And this is what I'm here to correct today. This video is about correcting that. We focus on our nothing. We're looking at it and we focus on where we have nothing. Everyone has lack. That's the truth. But focusing on the lack is like licking, your wounds. It's a soothing effect, but it's not going to help actually heal you. It's not. I hear all these excuses. But Rick, I'm a woman. But Rick, I'm black in a racist world. But Rick, I live in an African country where people don't have money. But Rick. I hear these excuses and countless variations of them on a daily basis whenever I'm talking to people. And there are many, I want to tell you that there are many gifts that have been granted to us and to you, to me, such as human potential. That is, your beautiful mind that you have, such as gifts such as work, for example. But today, I want to talk about time and space. They're the two that I'm going to be principally talking about because these are two that are available to anyone, no matter how poor you are. We're not even talking about money. We're talking about time and space. The universe granted each of these two gifts. So it doesn't matter if you're in Manhattan, whether you're in Singapore, whether you're in Cholocho. Like, the potentials are also available to you. So time, number one, is that time, it's the number one out of all these kind of resources that you have. Time is the raw material that everything is made of. I want you to think about that. This iPad that I'm working on, this iPad right here, this iPad that I'm working on, it came through time. It was created through time. Like, it took an amount of time for, the designers, the scientists, and the IT geeks at Apple to come up with this product. Then it took time for the raw materials there to be sourced, to be put together, to be assembled. And the amount of time it took to make the iPad is what makes it cost about $300. That's what you're paying for. It was the time of the people who made it. Let's look at another example. My book. I've got my book, Minimum Wage Revolution, right here. It was created from time. This book, it's available. Make sure you like my page and check it out. You need to get this because it's available on Amazon. But this book, it was created through time. It took time for me to collect, my thoughts and put them together, in a cohesive and compelling way, in that format. Then it took time for me to, it went through the proofreaders and they took time. It took time then for my publisher to go through it, formatting it, and then uploading it onto Amazon. So when you're buying this book, you're not just paying for the trees that, the pages, that are made from. That's not all you're paying for. You're paying for the time, all the people who took time to make this book. I'm not even counting the time that it took me to gather the wisdom and knowledge that I end up sharing that's contained within these pages. That's what I'm talking about, time. What do you produce with your time? What do you produce? Number one, we're talking about time. Number two, space. Space is the environment in which we all operate. Like, and it's laid. Let me tell you the truth. The space around you is laden with treasures. There is so much treasure in the space. You could look at it from the macro level of what is the country that you live in, all the natural resources, all the land, all the businesses that are in that country. You could look at it as your city, your neighborhood, even your house. But I would challenge you that if the average listener, the average person who's watching this video, if you, my friend, would master the space between your two ears, what I'm talking about here is your brain and your mind. If you could master that, you would become better than the vast majority of human beings on this planet. That's the power. Space. Ooh, I need to get... See, both time and space can be manipulated through work. If you want to see a return in terms of money, you can monetize them through work. But the work is what it takes to manipulate them. If you focused on the coming year 2018, let's look at time. If you focused on the coming year 2018 and you measured yourself as to what you could produce, the amount of product you could produce in that specific amount of time, 1 year, you know what? You would be way on your way to success. I did that in 2017. And if you would sit down and study, when it comes to space, if you would sit down and study the area where you live in order to analyze it for riches, you could find out facts that would amaze you. For me, I arrived in Derby, when I arrived in Derby, because I'd moved there, I did a deep study of the city. And, I realized that it was a developing city. It was a buzzing economy. I realized that the economy of the city that I live in was about £5 billion. So the question is, what was I doing to service that flow of money? That's what you should ask yourself about that's how you study and you do a detailed study of the environment in which you live. What's the difference between people who see themselves as victims and those people who have an entrepreneurial spirit? Let me give you 3 examples of this difference. 3 examples in areas that are very dear to my heart, my own communities and my own people. First off, Black communities around the world. You see, Black communities around the world, we are being sold that, we are entitled because we were wronged throughout recent history. Like we may have indeed been mistreated. But let me tell you something. White and Chinese people are not slowing down for us to catch up with them. Instead, they are teaching their kids about the dignity of labor. They are teaching their kids about, they're teaching them how to work hard. While we teach our children how to be professional whingers and professional moaners. White people are learning about how to code. They are learning about how to market on social media. And they're learning about how to navigate this coming century, with all the things that are coming, virtual reality, augmented reality, all that stuff. What are we doing? We're crying racism. Nah, man. Nah. Number 2. So that was the first community, Black people. In my second thing, Zimbabwe, the country of my birth. Right now the country is in economic and political turmoil. Like the rulers, in that country are playing with the country as if it's their farm, and we, the people, are just content to, simply pull our hair out in exasperation, crying on social media, for someone to do something. But instead of taking, this time to make ourselves more politically astute and politically savvy and find innovative solutions to all the crises that are in our country, we wait for a convenient solution to be given to us and thrown in our laps, a nice, easy one. We wait for the UN, we wait for the international community to do something for us. But in contrast, I live in the UK right now. The UK where I live now, this country approaches the world as if they are entitled to their own destiny. they're determined to handle Brexit, for example. The British are like, you know what, we're going to handle Brexit and our place in the world as if it's in our own hands. But my country, Zimbabwe, another thing. They're doing something differently. And lastly, I want to address Christians, my beloved tribe. I'm a Christian, and one of the things with Christians that annoys me is that, we are notorious. Christians are notorious for living in the spirit world and speaking a language that is irrelevant to the world that we live in, the earth that we live in. We complain about the state of the world that it's in, and yet we do nothing to stop the rot. Whereas you look in contrast, the rest of the world, because maybe they don't have a choice because they have no faith, the rest of the world, they invest their time and research, the physical world in order to advance mankind, bring in scientific solutions, everything. It's no wonder that the atheists in America, the Muslims in Dubai, and everyone else rule the world. And we Christians, we're seen as just needy and weak. I don't blame them. I don't blame them for doing that, because we are useless for the earth, because we don't know how to do this in the physical. See, you got to ask yourself the questions: when and where is my destiny going to manifest? Those two questions, when and where, are very, very powerful. And this is where time and space comes in. When you're investigating time, you are answering the question when. Take time into your hands and avoid wasting it. There's so many things that are trying to get you to waste your time. But the man who has control over the minutes and the seconds of his day is the most powerful among us. And when you're investigating space, you are answering the question, the age-old question, where? You work hard to discover the treasure that's hidden in the nature and the world around you. It's about location. That's the old adage, isn't it? Location. Space. That's how you investigate space in your environment. So, to answer that question that I asked at the beginning, how does one create something out of nothing? Because that's the age-old question. People are trying to create. We're wondering, how do you create something out of nothing? You have no money and you're trying to create money in your life. You have nothing. You have no solutions and you're trying to create a solution. The answer is actually that you don't create something from nothing, because you have something already. You just don't see it. You've got time and you've got space. So, as I finish this video, let me just give you some practical steps. I like to end on some practical steps. How then do you take advantage of time and space? I'm giving you four things, but the 2 are for time and 2 are for space. The first thing with time is you use your time to add value to yourself and make yourself better. Use your time to change yourself into the kind of man or woman that you want to be, a great man and woman. That's studying, that's listening, that's learning, that's whatever that looks like to you. You do that. You spend your time to do that. And number 2, after you've filled yourself with so much value that you have something valuable to give, then you use your time to add value to others and to create products and services. That's how you convert time. And the other thing, number 3, which is all about space, is you need to research your immediate vicinity. You need to research it. You need to research the natural resources, the people, the financial resources, the flow of money. You can research this. Wikipedia your city and figure out all the different financial sectors and all the different, demographics of your city and all this. Research your immediate vicinity. Do that. Go through your house and go through and see what are the things that are in your house, the space around you. What are the things that can be monetized there? Do you have a spare room that you don't use that you could rent out? Take it from whatever level you need to be at. Like if you're on a small level, do that. Your high level, do that. But the number 4 thing is, once you've researched that, now you need to figure out how your area of expertise, your field of purpose, your field that you specialize in, how does it connect to the flow of wealth that is in your space, in your area? When you do these, you will be unstoppable, guys. So I want you to have a good day, have a good weekend. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like this page, make sure you comment, let me know what you think about this. I'm just bringing you all this value and just wanting to bring you a lot more of this wisdom. This is how you take advantage of time and space. Have a good night. Bye.